Hi, everybody. Um, I wanted to welcome you back to my weekly post, as I said I would, from last week. And I had gotten some requests over this past week, one of which being how to become our best selves or versions of our best self. And this is a multi-pronged process. This is not something that um, is now, mind you, the approach to this, as I mentioned last week, and my approach to a lot of things is a deconstructivist one or a starting simple, and I'll touch upon that here in the next couple of minutes. But the first thing that has to happen in order for us to become our best selves or um, live our best selves or make that transformation is awareness. We can't change anything or go to that next level in our lives if we're not even aware that we're in that place of needing to make that transformation. You know, so if we're not aware that, hey, I'm kind of stagnant, I'm stuck, I'm not growing, I'm not developing, I'm not evolving, because change is a law of nature. Anything organic in this life is subject to change, whether we like it or not. That's just the law of nature. It's not my law, it's not my opinion. It is a fact of the universe, and it's a fact of nature. Just even on earthbound, in the earthbound realm, change, all of this, anything organic is in flux. And so that could be like constantly from micro nanosecond to nanosecond or over a period of decades in our lifetimes, but change is inevitable. And resistance to that change is really deleterious. So awareness is the first step in making, living our best selves. Um, then once we become aware of, hey, I need to change, I'd like to change, I'm unhappy with who I am, I want to go to the next level, then it's recognizing, step two is recognizing what it's going to take to get there. But even before that, step two is envisioning who that person is. What version of ourselves, what new version of ourselves do we want to become? So if we can't envision that, I mean, we can have help from people. Um, that's one of the things that I do if someone's having difficulty with that, is helping them to envision that version of themselves and with clarity and an unobstructed view of who that person is that they want to turn into for the better. That's the second step, is envisioning it, identifying who is this person that I want to become. Step three is then recognizing the actionable steps that it will take to get there, you know, and then number four, or step four, is enacting those steps. And number five is being consistent with those steps. And that consistency basically means breaking those actionable steps down into manageable bits. So, and that consistency is where often, which separates the men from the boys or the women from the girls, whatever, um, is that consistency invariably. That's really where and why, and I'm just speaking, speaking truths, being straight with all of you, is unfortunately why most people stay stuck ultimately. I think most people, most of the time, I don't have any statistics on this, but most people internally, they kind of realize at some point or another they feel stuck, they feel unhappy or ill at ease, or certainly not at peace with themselves. at certain points in their life where they're kind of like, yeah, I feel stuck and I don't like the person that I am right now, and I feel like I'm just bogged down. I think most people can recognize that. The awareness isn't really the problem. Um, Somewhere in step 2 to 5, or 2 to 4, is where most people really fall short. They can't even envision what that person is that they want to become. If they can envision who that person is that they want to become, um, by proxy, they can identify the things that need to happen and occur. But in step 4 and 5, that is where that's what separates the men from the boys, the women from the men, the women from the girls. Um, is actually enacting those steps, because it gets, so, well, this is too much. This is too difficult. This actually takes work. And then if they do enact those things, it's short lived. The consistency falls short, um, which takes many, many different things, attributes to be consistent with those things. So it's usually in step 4 or 5 where people fall short. And, that's one of my major goals and objectives in helping all of you and helping individuals or teams or groups or organizations to be consistent, uh, with the things that need to happen. So uh, that was something I just wanted to impart to you this week, um, and because that came up, and so I will see you all next week. And again, I welcome any questions, requests, what have you, for topics and whatnot for me to bring up. So I want you all to have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.